What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in this video, I did want to go over my top 9 races I have found so far that you can make well over $1.2 million in a day. Now keep in mind for this one though, I'm not even going to be level 55 yet, so this is going to be a great way to make a lot of money. That way you can buy the hypercars and more expensive cars when you are playing the game, at least getting on daily, doing the frim stuff, and then also doing the races. It's going to be a great way to make a ton of money. So the first race I do want to talk about, which I also want to mention, none of these are really going to be in an order. It's more of the fact of like the 9 races you can do every single day, and then of course run them 5 times, getting you well over 1.2 million. Once you actually get above level 30, you're then going to start getting that extra 10,000 or so bonus every time you do an event. Then you're actually going to be getting around 28,000 per that race. You can run that race 5 times and per all 9 events, you are well over 1.2 plus million easily. Now the first event I did want to talk about, guys, is probably going to be fairly obvious, and the reason for that though is I would almost guarantee most players are probably already grinding this event out, because you can easily do this race in under a minute and 10 seconds. So grinding this one out, guys, specifically in the Audi TT, or you can even use like the Mini Cooper, Mustang, any of them are still going to be under 1 minute and 10 seconds. So on the docks is by far going to be one of the fastest events in the entire game. Now for race number 2 though, you're going to want to head over to the Causeway Bay over here, guys. This race is also going to be one of my favorites. It is going to be incredibly quick to do. Battle Royal. This race can actually be done in around a minute and 20 seconds. You can also use the Audi TTRS on this or some of the other daily drivers if you would like, but the Audi TTRS can do this race, the on the docks, and many of them, and you're also going to get them done even quicker. Now this race is going to be fairly short. There's a lot of corners in it, but it is going to be another time attack, so you don't have to worry about AI and stuff. You can restart it, you can run it, and keep running it back and forth. Luckily, getting this done a minute and 20 seconds, guys, is going to be incredibly good to stack some quick money in that one day if you need it, or you can keep running this over and over like I mentioned, doing it 5 times, then moving over to one of the other events, and then keep doing that exact same thing over and over. Now the third race I did want to have on this list though I found to be incredibly easy, but you are going to have a supercar for this one. It is going to be located here in the Happy Valley area, very close by to the Solar Hotel. It's also going to be very close by to the workshop here, guys. You can spawn here and then head over to the race. To the HKCEC is going to be incredibly easy to do. It will most likely take you around a minute and 15 to around a minute and 20 seconds in a supercar, and luckily most of the supercars I have tried on it so far do seem to work. For me, guys, I actually have been running 2 different ones that can complete it fairly easily. So yes, the MC20 can do it, the Audi R8 V10 rear-wheel drive can do it. One of my personal favorites, the 4GT, can also do it. You could probably beat it with like the Jaguar or like the Lambos and stuff with basically no issues. Again, a minute and 20 seconds on a race is probably going to be incredibly quick. And luckily on this one, it's also going to be a pretty fast-paced race. So you're most likely going to get it done and go, dang, that's it. And what's funny though is the HKCEC race is easily turning into a daily routine of mine. Getting on, guys, I do this race, I jump to the other ones, and this race is going to be so dang quick and so dang simple. That is probably going to be one of the easier ways to stack 140k. That way you can buy some upgrades, go after that car you want, then you can always come back to it the next day and keep doing it. And now for race number 4 here on this list is going to be located here in the bottom of the map in Aberdeen. This is actually going to be another supercar race called Rising Sun. The best part about this one, guys, like you might look at it and go 4.5 miles. Here's the best part. The entire race is on the highway, man. Look at that thing zoomed out. You can legitimately go as fast as you possibly want. Now the Rising Sun time attack though is going to be mainly focused on the highway, so yeah, having a top speed is probably going to be the better option. Running something like the 4GT, I was getting it around 1 minute and 48-ish seconds. I mean, wasn't the best driving, not going to lie, but if you guys have a better top speed or, a faster car, you could probably get it done like a minute and 35-ish, maybe a minute and 40. But either way though, this race is going to be incredibly easy to do. Probably one of my favorite races to jump on, and you also get to drive a supercar and basically go as fast as you want on the highway. It's also going to be a pretty fun experience on top of making money and getting experience. Now for the 5th race I did want to show here is also going to be located here in Aberdeen. I would almost guarantee most people have probably seen this race already, but tunnel vision. It is going to be incredibly easy to do on top of the other ones. It can be done around 1 minute and 30 seconds using something like the Audi TT RS, or you could probably invest in something like the Porsche Taycan and get this race done in under a minute and 28 seconds. Now, do keep in mind though, that thing is going to be over $1 million, so it's more of like an investment thing, and you're going to basically have to run this race probably around 5 or 6 days to get the money back for that car if you did want to buy it for this one. But then again, that thing's also going to be an absolute monster in the Grand Tourer category. The lucky thing about the tunnel vision, guys, you also can level up your clan XP from it, which I do want to mention. I do have another video planned out going over some of the best clan races I have found so far in the game. This one I had to mention though because it's so dang easy to do. And then for race number 6 though, is going to be located here in the Chaiwan area on the right side of the map, basically in the exact same region as the Street HQ. This is going to be called the Goods Transportation. You will have to use a daily driver car for this one, but again, you can run the Audi TTRS, or you can also run the Mito or the Mito, because that car is going to be great, and it's going to be plenty fast for this event. Now luckily guys, getting this one done is going to take you in around 1 minute and 25-ish seconds, depending on how good you actually do around the corners. It can also be a bit less than that. The reason why I do like this race though is you don't have to have a very high leveled vehicle, so if you're actually going to be a tad more low leveled, this one's still going to be great, and it's also going to be a time attack. Seems like a lot of these are better for grinding out, that way you can restart them immediately, or if you mess up you can restart, and you don't have to abandon the event. Luckily though, for the goods transportation guys, any of the cars you do end up picking is still going to be a great option for this one. Now for the 7th race, we're also going to be back in the Causeway Bay, which we're actually going to have multiple races in this area that are going to be incredibly good. This is going to be located right here going downtown. Even using something like a daily driver on this event, which of course is the Audi TTRS, you will get this one done around a minute and 25 seconds. If you do end up having something like the Porsche Taycan again, which similar to like the Tunnel Vision event, you can actually get this race done in under a minute and like 15, even under a minute and 18 seconds, depending on how good you drive in this race. So this one's also insanely good. Funny thing is, I did actually stumble upon this race a bit later, and I am so glad I actually found this one. Now for race number 8 though, this one is going to be located here in Shek. It's also going to be on the top or like the middle part of this area, so it's fairly easy to find it on the Dragon's Back. Now this race is actually going to be really easy to do, guys. I really like this event, and for some odd reason I really do enjoy doing the off-road races, so I actually have been doing a lot of these lately. I find them to be good, even though some players might not be the biggest fan of them. But again, I would recommend trying out the buggy if you guys are struggling. In this event though, you will be able to get this one done around a minute and 40-ish to a minute and 45 seconds. So it is going to be fairly fast to do this one. Like, it might not be the best track for many people, but again guys, try out the buggy. It is going to be a time attack, so you might end up being like around a minute and 50 seconds, but it's still going to be a really good event to do every single day when you log on. That way you can easily stack that $1 million on top of the frame, and you're also going to be experimenting with different classes, different races, so you're not always doing the exact same type of races, which I have to admit here in Test Drive is probably one of my favorite things about it. The fact that all the races are so different, but also so dang fun. Now there's also going to be another race here, guys. Now I do know the order of these is a bit wonky, but this one's also going to be fairly difficult, so I did end up wanting to put this one on the 9th race I would recommend. Right here, the Seafarers Way. This race is going to be great. It is going to be a supercar race with a max of 1,050, so like, you're probably going to want a decent car to get it done. For me though, I did end up running the 4GT 2006 from the pre-order thing, and that car seemed to do it just fine. Keep in mind though, I do believe the 812 Superfast is in this race with you. Luckily for me though, he did end up crashing, so I think I was alright, but I would say on some of these straightaways he could definitely end up catching you. At the same time though, I was able to beat the race with, I think it was like 5 to 8 plus seconds ahead of him, so I wouldn't necessarily say it's going to be impossible. But this race, guys, is going to be incredibly quick to do. You will get this one done around a minute and 23 to like a minute and 25 seconds, and depending on your car, like if you were to run something like the 812, it's probably going to be even lower. So I would recommend trying out the Seafarers Way, but again, this one is fairly difficult. Is also why I did want to leave this one for the last place in this entire list. But overall, though, I would probably say as time does go on, we are most likely going to find even more races that are going to be great, and there are also going to be even more that you can add on to the 9 that you can do to make even more money every single day, guys, by finding your favorite events, and that way you're actually going to be able to keep grinding them out, making that money daily, and eventually you're probably going to find a great routine of these set events that you really do enjoy. Like I would even say out of like the 9 events I did end up showing here, maybe not everybody's going to like all of them, so I can see that. But that way you can actually find maybe 5 or 6 of them, experiment with a few more, and you're still going to be well over $1 million from a few events every single day. Definitely going to be well worth it. But if you guys have any questions, do let me know in the comments below. I also do want to mention again, I am going to be making a clan race video soon, going over my top clan race events I have found so far when going through the game, which I would say those are great, especially for leveling up the overall clan race as quickly as possible.